So what I'm going to do here is that if I go here, the policy, and right now what I have done is the localized policy. Inside the localized policy, even I have other option, but what I have done is that I have only done in regards of the route policies, right? There are QoS and other stuff, QoS, ACL, and all those. I'm not going. I'll show you that part later. Let me play with the centralized policy and show you what options we have in the centralized policy. So what we will do, deploy as a part of a centralized policy is number one, we will do the hub and spoke. Okay, so in this one, what we will see that, okay, my DC1 is the hub. Okay, and the rest of my devices are the rest of my sites would be acting as a spoke. Okay, so what I can, and I can indeed do the regional one. So what would happen, this will act as a hub, right? And rest of them will act as a spoke, right? So what will happen that I will reduce the BFT. So if you see right now, I'm having a multiple BFT, like one to this and one to other to like this, and so on, so right. So we have a multiple BFT and each individual site can talk to each other, right? Now, if I want to reduce my, the control plane part by reducing the BFT and IPsec tunnel, all of those, what I will do is that I will make site as a 100 as a hub, the rest of the site as a spoke. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go ahead and delete this for a moment, and let me go ahead on the vmanage. In the vmanage, what it is asking me, the define of the interesting list. Okay, so what I can do is that I can define the interesting list as in the site list. Okay, and inside the site I can see hub DC1. Okay, let's like mention like this, and it says that mention your site ID, what should be your hub, right? So I am saying my hub is at site 10. Okay, but I need another site list which should be my spoke, right? And that's what I can say 10 to 30.
So just why make it hub and spoke?
I mean, so let's say for an example, if you have a architecture where your site to site communication is very less. So like for an example, banking and all those stuff, they rarely talk to site, right? There is no point of putting the more processing and all those stuff on a VH to process the IPsec and BFT traffic all the time, right? So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to reduce the number of the BFT and IPsec tunnel on a SPOC side. So they should be always will be able to talk to the hub. And if the hub, they still want to reach to the SPOC, they should be following, they will go by the hub only, right? So that is the one of the option you can, and maybe you have a regional architecture. Okay, you have a regional, I'm sorry.
Right, you have a full mesh, right? So you're going to make it as a hub and spoke.
Right. So default behavior is in full mesh. Now, because of you have a big architecture, let's say 1,000 or 2,000 devices, where you have multiple transport. Think of that. How many? If you have a 2,000 devices and 2,000, two sites, two circuit for each site. Think of that. How many BFD and IPsec tunnels will be made, right? So that will overall consume your, memory and all those stuff of the device, right? And you know that based on your architecture, your site-to-site traffic is very less, right? Your traffic is majorly pointed out to the hub or data center, right? That's where you can, put it like, okay, this is my hub, and I want to make the OSPF never say. I mean, I want to have the routing to be learned from the, pointing towards to always hub, and then hub can have a capability to route back to the other side, right? In case of needed. That's how you can optimize your, overlay, right? Any question?
No, clear.
Okay.
And one more thing, like in hub side, we have a 2 edge device, right? So we will make it as a 2 hub or a single hub.
So now if you say in this section, if you say, Sujit, I do have 2 hubs, 2 VSs, and I want to select either of them, you can do that as well. Else by default, it will point out to both of them based on your, the IPsec preference and all those stuff. But you can manipulate that. Okay, I want, and that comes on the again IPsec preference, which I was mentioning. Higher is better, lower is is least preferred. So you can do in either, right? Clear?
Clear.
Okay, so let's go ahead to configure the, so here on the vmanage, I'm saying for future as well. So let's say I see any site which is from 1 to 99. Okay, if any of the site will have a 1 to 99, will be paired with this. Will be having the DC1 as a hub. Okay,
So that time 10 also will be coming under that, right? That's okay, right?
Right. So anything coming within this range or is equal to this would fall under that category and would be preferring accordingly, right?
Hub also coming under that category, right?
I'm sorry, come again?
Hub also coming under that category, right?
Right, right.
Okay,
Oh,
no problem, right?
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. This is hub DC1 is a site ID is 100 instead of 10, so it should be 100. I made a mistake for that. Okay. Now I'm doing a one more thing, which I want to show you to be, see the beauty of it. Let's say I'm defining another hub, which let's say for assume hub DC2. So for some of the site, I'm saying that hub should be a DC2. Okay. And for I'm saying that, okay, my DC2 hub ID is this, right? Now I have to create another. So I'll say, I'll modify this. I'll say swap origin 1. Okay. And I'll create another site list. I don't have existing, but I'm just trying to show you the, the power of the site ID. Okay. So Spock region 2. So what I'm doing right now, I have created 2 regional hubs, and I'm saying that anyone coming within that here, the new VPN list, VPN list. VPN 10. I'm giving the VPN 10 only. Good. Now I can go ahead on the topology and can click on the add topology, hub and spoke. Yeah, this time it is there. I can click here, add hub. So I'll say hub EC1, add spoke, region 1, add. You can click on a preview to see the policy. So the policy is saying, if you read out this skillfully, it says the policy type is the control policy. Name of the policy is control spoke region 1, which says the sequence 10, okay, match route and say hub DC1 means that match the route. We match the VPN this and set the XNSF. Sequence 20, match the TLOC, okay, match the hub DC1 XNSF. So it is saying, if you understand carefully, in the first section, it is saying that match route and the VPN list, accept the route, right? Second section, this one is saying that match this as an site list of the TLOC and accept, rest everything reject, right? So I can go ahead to, any question on this? Vishnu?
No, it's okay, great.
Okay. Next, I will create another hub policy for the another reason, right? I'll click on the hub and spoke. We'll paste region 2, again for VPN 10, and add hub list DC2. In fact, why shouldn't I try in the other one? Give me 1 second. Let me try into the existing one only. Add another sequence or something where I'll see add hub and spoke. This one I'll see region, and we'll see region 1. REGI on region 1. Region 2. Okay, and here I'll just remove the regional statement because now it is now more regional. And on the second hub, I will tell, okay, my hub is DC2. Okay, add, and spoke is DC2 spoke. It's spoke region 2. Now I'll simply say save policy. Now I have created this policy, but I have not called out that anywhere. So I have not done anything. So I'll go ahead to add, and since I have already created everything, I just need to go ahead, change the tab. This is minor bug inside of it. Add next, and we'll click on next. Import. So that's where I can use the import option, right? Since I have already created, it will show me here, import, and I'll say next. Application aware routing traffic data flow. I'm not doing anything. Next. Now it is asking me to consolidate name of that policy. So I'll see centralized policy. Okay. Here. Now you can see that my VPN list and hub and spoke policy is being called out here. What I can do, I can click on a preview. And now read it again, the same thing. So it says the policy is the syntax, and then it says the control policy, this name, this is a, the type of the policy, and this is here is the name of the policy. It says match route from the DC1, say the VPN list 10, Xn accept. Also, next says the tlock, because if you will not accept the tlock, of course, your next hop is not reachable, your route will not install into the routing table. So here I'm installing, I'm accepting the tlock from this site location and saying that, okay, default action, reject, rest everything reject. Into the next action, I am saying, sorry, into the next action, you see, it says that the control policy, this match sequence again for this next policy with the, the site hub DC2, accept the VPN within this VPN, accept all the route and accept the, match tlock route. And then further, we have the, created those lists, right? So you can see hub DC1 is created, hub DC2, the one which we created. And now it is applying that site spoke region 1 on all the spoke of the region 1, say this, and on the spoke region 2, say this. Okay, so now I'm going to save this policy. Okay, now since I have saved this policy, what is going is mean that this policy is actually not yet applied. So if you go on the vSmart, so BR1 BHE, if I see so BFD summary, how many BFDs are up right now? 8 BFDs are up. After this, applying this policy, my BFD will reduce, right? So right now I am accepting the SO IP route VPN 10. I'm receiving the route from their next hop. So 20 is being received by 9, 100 is received by 4, 200 is received by 6, and so on, right? So that's how the routing is happening. It says that you can reach directly to the site, right? So let me do one thing. So right now I'm not getting a default route. So if a route I'm not accepting from a Spock side, how my routing will happen, right? So if you look right now, if I'll connect you on the topology, right now what is exactly is happening is, this route is coming to this route is also coming to this route is also coming to this, but they are sending their own individual route, right? Now, if I block these two routes, how I will able to forward the traffic to these guys? So for that, what I need to do is that I need to advertise a default route from here, from the core to this guy, so that, this guy send a traffic to the DC1. And since this is a hub, which is having a BFP with all of them, can route the traffic back to the another spoke, right? That's how we do, right? In hub and spoke topology, our spoke hub always advertise a default route, right? Are you following me, Vishnu?
Yeah. So can you repeat the current what you are saying? But I didn't get it.
Okay.
Right. So the DC1 as a hub, right?
Right. So right now, if you say the DC1 is a hub, okay. Now, right now, looking on the routing table, what routing table says that I am getting a route from this core, I'm getting a route from this side. Also, I'm getting a route from this side, right? Now, what your policy says that only accept the route originated by this side on any of this Spock, right? Now, if Spock is receiving the route from the hub only, then how I can reach to this another Spock? To reach to the another Spock, what should I have is that I should be having a default route should be learned from my hub location. So the traffic will go something like this. Okay, so traffic will go something like going to this, and here it will use until here reaching from the branch VSA to the DC1 VHA, it will use the default route, and from that default route it can route back to this location because hub is getting a full routing from everywhere.
One mention, this DC1 edge A. So this device is a hub, right?
Right.
Branch 1 and branch 2 will form a tunnel with the edge 1, right?
Uh-huh.
Edge, so DC1 edge will be injecting a default route, right? This is you are saying, right?
That's what I want, because without injecting a default route, if I'm not receiving a routing from other location, I cannot reach it. So what I need to have is that I need to inserting a default route from the data center or from the hub, so that other spoke which doesn't have a routing table information of the other, remote spoke, it will follow the default route, will reach to the hub, and hub is having a full routing from each spoke, can use that specific route to route towards to that another spoke.
But normal hub and spoke topology, whatever the routes hub is learning, that or normally it will be forwarded to spoke, right? For example,
depending on in the in the normal hub and spoke topology, if you go back in the DMVPN and all those concepts, they don't advertise the default route. I mean, they don't advertise the most specific routing. They use the default route to reach to the hub, and then hub have capability to route back towards to that.
That we need to add extra actually. Normally, if it is learning a hub, like a route from the spoke, it will be forwarded to another spoke.
Right. So in this case, let's assume that it doesn't allow all the routes of the remote spoke. Right. So you should be having a way to reach to the other spoke.
Because of our policy, or
yeah, because of the policy, default template is being written in a manner which says that only spoke can only accept the route which are being advertised by the hub. That means to say the route which are being advertised by the spoke are declined. That's what you see in the policies, right?
One method, so just like in a routing, we can leak the route. There is one method called a leaking.
I mean that all these are different options are available, but I'm talking about the default template which it is being offered by Viptela in this scenario. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So if you see in the policy preview,
configuration hub network plus one default route will come, right?
So what this, I mean, it is not like that. I mean, I'm trying to say here is that let's say for an example, okay, I'm defining a hub, okay, I'm defining a spoke, okay. Okay, now I have peering with this, I have peering with this, right? Now let's say I'm advertising 10/24 XYZ from here, okay. Dot 20/24 from here, dot 30 dot/24 from here, okay, and I'm advertising dot 40 from here, okay. That's what my local subnet are, okay. Now ideal behavior should be, if I want to reach to this subnet, I should from, let's say, from this side to this side, I should have a route to this, right? That's how my routing will work, right? That's hub and spoke concept. Acknowledge me if you are following.
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay, now let's assume that my policy says on spoke, for all the spoke side, that don't receive a route which is being advertised from any of the spoke side. So if you read out this policy, it says that this is a control policy which is we are going to apply on the side, and what we say that match route from the hub DC, from this guy, right, in the VPN 10, accept it. So what does it mean by that? Accept any route which is being originated from the hub, is originated from the hub. Just try to understand, okay? Now also it says that match the TLOC from the hub DC1 and accept. Rest everything reject. What does it mean by that? If I am trying to advertise any route from this to this, I can send it, but spoke, if the spoke are being receiving this, they will decline this route. Which one? The one which are being advertised from the spoke. So this one, right? All of these routes will be declined on the spoke side. So that means to say, if I am declining the route which are being originated, let's say in this case 10.0/24 is being declined, right? How I will able to reach the 10.0/24 if I don't have any routing table? It will drop itself here, right? So what I need is that there should be some default route should be inserted, so that following that default route I can reach here. And once I reach here, the hub is of course getting a routing from all of the spoke and can you route it back towards to whichever the spoke it want to go. Is that make sense?
Yeah, clear.
So this is a default GUI pattern which Cisco has given us. You can, if you want to play around different manner, you can use the custom policy, which I was giving you the third option, apart from hub, mesh, and the custom one, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to advertise the default route from my data center. Then I'll activate the policy. Okay. So let me go ahead on this. Manage device. So I'll go in the template. So right now, if I'll show you on the DC1 VHP, oh, sorry. Admin, so IP route VPN 10, 0.0.0.0/0. So it says the default route is being learned from an OSPF. means that my core data center core is advertising a default route. But if I will look on a BR1 VHE, so IP route VPN10 0.0.0.0/0, I'm not receiving it. What does it mean by that? That route is not being advertised into the OMP. Now to further advertise into the OMP, if you look here, so run VPN10, so run OMP. What current OMP is saying that I can advertise connected, static, and the OSPF, but I cannot advertise the external route. So this is a different route than the route which we are advertising so far, because since I'm inserting that route, it become a E2, right? So I'll go ahead and manage, and we'll go in the template, and we'll see what template I'm using. So for OMP, this one, I'll go in here. In the non-default, I think we are using from non-default OMP, and I should be saying default. And OMP, this one is being used. So, device template attached one, this one. Yeah. So I'll modify this guy. Oh, I can view it, I cannot edit it. Okay. So I'll do one thing. I'll go ahead and look on this part. OSPF external is disabled here. Okay. I'll use the template which I have created in the past. Non-default OMP. Let me quickly review it. So in the advertise section, it says BGP of OSPF connected static. IPv6, I don't have option to hide and hide IPv6. Okay, that's okay. I'll go ahead and use this template in the templates. We'll go here on this one, edit, and we'll go in the OMP one and call out my template which I created. VS OMP, update. So if you look in the OMP section, now I have added the additional command, advertise OSPF external. This command will actually advertise our external routes. I mean, external routes, which can be a OSPF default route as well, into the LAN section. Let's see if it got successfully posted. So PC1 BHA, this is still in progress. But if I look on the configuration of the device, so run OMP, and I can see the OSPF external command is being added. I don't know why it is throwing this unexpected error. Okay, I'll check that later. But let me quickly see the route now. And I can see the route I'm able to learn it. And same route I'm giving it to micro, right? So if I trace from this guy, let me stop. So if I ping 172 20.10.54 destination host and reachable 100 ping 172.100 that is reachable. Let me quickly see why I have to be that location. Some config problem. That's right. So yeah, we can turn this actually down into this vector. Start. I no search. Now, if I remove from this PC, I will start receiving the trace route. So if you see in the trace, what it is saying that it reached to its default gateway, right? And then it reached to the VHA, and then it reached to the VH of this thing branch, I mean targeted branch, which is a BR2, and then it reached to. So what does it mean by that? Right now, if you see the traffic flow is exactly is the site-to-site communication, right? So traffic is starting like, and then going like this. But after the hub and spoke policy, my traffic should look like this, right? So that's how, you know, we call it the regional hub, I mean the hub and spoke policy. So let me do first thing is that set up the continuous ping for this, and let me apply the policy. Okay, ping minus t. Right now, no policy is being applied on this, right? That means to say the policy doesn't exist on this device at all. Now, what I'll do, I'll go ahead to activate this policy from the vmanage. So let me go ahead in the policy and say, okay, centralized policy, activate. So you can see the policy change applied to the vSmart. Now, if you look on the vSmart running configuration, that policy is being listed here. So if you see from, it actually has started from here. So you see that we have defined the list, right, which includes the VPN list, site list, right? And then you have the control policy, which we have, you know, control policy, which we can see it until the down, whatever we configured, and is being applied. So we define the list, then we define the policy, and now we are applying the policy here to whom this policy on this site list, this policy, and the other site list, other policy. Okay. Now let me do this. Let me go back on the this PC, and since it is remain reachable, now let me do the trace. Okay. Now, if you look here, one of first IPC is that, okay, your gateway, your VH, DCVH means the hub, DC1, right? 100.9. So 100 is the site ID of my data center. That's where it is reaching on the 100.9, and then returning back to the SPOC, which is a BR1, BR2, right? And then reach to the destination. Now, if that's what it is confirming. Now, if you look on the BR1 VHE. So IP first, so BFP session. I'm sorry, it's BFP summary. So previously there were so many BFTs. Now we have only 4 are up, which means to say if you start calculating 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So 4 BFDs are only up from this VH. Rest all of these BFDs are down. That means to say the traffic will go to this guy and this guy will route it back. And if you also look here on the BR1 VHE, so IP route VPN 0, sorry, VPN 10. So if you look on the OMP routes, okay, default route is being learned from the data center, right, from the hub. And rest of the route which you are getting are from the only hub. Rest remote or Spock side routes have been changed. Clear? Now, if you want to say, Surjit, I want to see for the another VPN, another hub. So for that, what we can do, we can quickly change the site ID for a moment so that, okay, let's say these devices previously was in this region. Now these has been separated to the other region. Just one, because I cannot add so many devices in this one. Okay. So let's go ahead and see device. And inside the device, we will pick BR1 and we'll see BHP. Maybe I can move it these to the CLI template as well if I want, but I'll quickly choose here. So I'll simply go ahead here and site ID, site ID, site ID. The site ID. Yeah, here you see. So what should be my site ID? Something more than 101. So I'm saying that 101 for this guy. And saying next, configure device. Let's So what I'm expecting, as soon as my site ID change, I should start receiving the route from the other data center and I should be having BFP with that hub, right? So let me go back here. And look at this. 200.10, 200.11, 12, 200. So everything which is coming from 200 is pointing towards to that VH, and that's how peer with that peer. Previously, I was mapped with the other peer. I mean peer. That's where other hub, and I was a part of different region, and that's where. So now you understand how important it is to very careful design your hub. I mean site list, and then making sure that the things are well called out in the policy.